Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about the background of the image, just like purely about the process of making the background. This poster is done by a guy called Abey. I saw a lot of his work when I was out looking at street art in London as well. A couple of pieces of his work which I wasn't that impressed with, but this is a piece I like more. And the way he does the background is he layers it up with all sorts of like wallpaper and like different patterns, but like there's quite a lot of newspaper in there, and then like small stencils and stuff, and then on like just dulls it all down so it's like slightly unnoticeable and it doesn't take away from the image on top. I actually have his book here, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, he uses a lot of patterns like. Let's see if I can find examples. He has two styles of work really. He has this like quite blocky style without that background, which is I actually don't like that much. Well, I like it, but not as much as the other more dirty style. It's more close match to my style. And that was actually I believe one of the images that I saw when I was out in London. Come on. Yeah, here, and here's the other style. You can see like all the layered up background. In this one he's actually not dulled it down that much, because he's got like sky and stuff and he's actually used the background. Normally it's just like here you go, here it's it quite obviously like loads of different things layered up. Grab that. Loads of different layers up, like wallpaper, some of his like Obey material as well. Spray, yeah, some like spray, some newspaper there as well, and then he puts like the blocky design on top of it. Normally he dulls down the background a lot more than that, like in this one. You can still see, let's come out a bit. You can still see that he's used, and it's quite obvious, but he's used all the newspaper and stuff in the background, and then dulled it down. And also you can see in this one, like this, he's put in bits that like relate to the actual piece. So obviously, like it's called Bayonets, obviously a piece on war, and he's put like a bit of a newspaper headline saying ceasefire. So it's really thought about, and I'm sure if you go in more depth and look at some of the other things, they'll also have some relation. It's a bit of newspaper there. Yeah, so that's like the basic idea behind what I'm doing with the background. My the actual pieces are like far different from his. His are very political pieces usually, and mine not really. Right, so let me show you what I've done so far. Okay, first piece was this one, and in terms of like the background things, a bit of George's Marvellous Medicine for the bit where like the chicken gets like super long legs and stuff like that in there. There's some, you can barely see it, I've gone over it quite a few times, but there's like a book from like a how to draw book, and there's some like horses in it. Some newspaper, and yeah, there's some like graffiti, just text in the background there. There's a few other bits of graffiti text as well. I wasn't particularly happy with this one. I thought there's too much of a because it's supposed to be a background. It's supposed to like not distracting. It's quite busy, and there's like a huge contrast between these like dark drips and like the background. There's like there it's a bit better, but it's also still super busy. And why Obey's background works is most of the time it's like dulled down, so it's like there's not a large tonal range. And so that's what I tried to do with the second one. So we've got obviously got like the background again. Some like of the house drawing of the fox. More George's Marvellous Medicine, like hidden there. That's when the chicken gets like a super long neck. And I experimented with some different like techniques. Overall, I do like this one, but I still think it's a bit too busy. I'm not sure. I guess I'll find out. And there's areas like that and like that, which they look quite cool, but they're like such contrast to like the rest of the piece. I like it when it's all like layered up, like around this area where like the dark colours like been like worked on and like dripped round, and you can like sort of see patches of things coming through. So what I think I'm gonna do for like the final stage of development for this is, I saw an artist a long time ago he'd used just text as a background, just like uniformly written text, and that way I think I'm gonna like, I'm not sure whether yet if I'm gonna still use like the like stuck on bits in the background. I think I probably will, but I thought the text and then like just do a couple of layers of like in a small tone as the background. And the words will give me, because these do relate, the George Marvelous Medicine stuff especially. This is all about all my all my pieces about like extraordinary people in a way, or people that are slightly off and slightly weird. And George's Marvelous Medicine is like, especially with this piece, which I'm intending to put on the homeless man, it's got, because they like fed them a medicine, it's got a lot of like drug connotations, because I'm sure he took a few drugs, it's a bit mental. Yeah. And then the horse, because I'm going to do him like in a cowboy way, and then they're like betting sections of a newspaper. So that's how it all ties in. And then obviously the graffiti, just because he comes from the street, and the whole thing because he comes from the street, although that won't relate as much to the rest of the pieces, so that's why I'm changing that a bit. But I will show you the final one. It's done. Okay, I'm starting to get a variety of material for my the second development of the backgrounds. More George Marvelous Medicine stuff, because I really like the way that works. And I've also put in some Lord of the Flies, because in Lord of the Flies it's like there's a strong theme of that children are like a microcosm of the whole of society. So if you take that like conversely in a bit more of a positive light, it can be said that old people like are just as good as children, or are just as good at an equal level, so for portraying society. And I've got some of my sister's scarves, like old school scarves, just to give it like a bit more of that like flavour. And I've scanned them all black and white, because obviously things like the scarves they can't just stick on. I don't think my sister would be pleased with that. And a lot of the books are like slightly off colour as well, and because my background's going to be black and white, it means I'd have to do so many layers to like get them down, and you'd lose the pattern after that. So if they're all black and white, I can do minimum amount of layers on top of them, so without trying to like get rid of the colour. That makes sense. For another layer, like to combine with the spray paint layer that I did in the last one, I've managed to find it's the first stencil I ever made, Boombox stencils. I think I want to spray it, but lift it, or don't press it down as much. It gives it like a. It's not a genuinely considered a good effect, but like sort of an off-sprayed, not perfect effect, which is sort of what I'm going for in the background. So I'm going to use that as well. Right, I've done the first couple of layers. First one was just a straight white base coat, and I've stuck on all the things I printed. And obviously, because they're paper, they have a lot of different textures, so I've gone over them again with that white, like just roughly, so the texture doesn't change that much when I paint over it. Okay, we're a few more layers in now. I've gone for like the straight paint layers, as well as, firstly I put on the spray paint layers, which are slightly more obvious at first, like stencil I use on the spray. That's like the technique where I spray it slightly off, so it looks just a bit like A. And yeah, you can see them in the background, like here. There's a lot coming through the whole piece, because although they're going to be cut up into each of these can be 3, I want them to work as 2 triptychs. So there's a lot of stuff going through the whole piece, and that's why I decided to cut it afterwards. You can still see like the writing and the words through, but it's got that like that layered effect to it, and at the moment it's quite balanced. So the next layer, I obviously need to wait for this to dry, or the next weather is the words, and then I'll do a couple of other straight paint layers to like make that go into the background as well, because I don't want it to stand out and interfere with the piece on top. Okay, with what I'm actually going to write on the back for the background, I was initially going to write this whole piece on aging by George Carlin, the comedian, and then I saw that the last line of it, life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, by the moments that take our breath away, and I think that's got a lot more power than this whole writing down the whole thing, due to like the fact that obviously the painting is going on top of it, and therefore you won't be able to read it. But if I just repeat this one sentence, there will be like areas where you'll be able to see it and you'll be able to read it easily. So that's the plan. Okay, I'm on to the final layer for the background. I've written out the phrase, life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, by the moments to take our breath away. And I've just decided, like I said, to just do that phase. And I've split it into the 3 pieces for the triptych. I've done different pens for each one to give them a slightly bit of individuality, but the way I've written it all in one go starts off with reasonably neat writing and ends up really scrappy, so they all sort of like tie together as like, as you go down the writing gets more messed up, and I also make more mistakes and stuff like that. Although I said that I was using one sentence so it would be easily readable, the way I've written it makes it completely unreadable, well not completely unreadable, but less legible, especially in the last 2 if you just see them by themselves. So I'll just name the whole triptych after the saying, so it can be easily connected like that.